Hey everyone, my name is Full Metal Lamps, and I'm back with another video. This one was pretty delayed in the making. I should have done it faster, should have made it earlier. But main reason why I haven't made as many videos recently is because I've been playing Angela only, right? I hit top 500 literally last night, 2 days ago as well. Um, but if you look at my stats here, I played 42 hours of Angela only and not even 4 hours of Penny. So not even 10% of my, game time I've played Penny Parker. Main reason being, one, the buffs didn't do shit for Penny, and so I'm just, I guess, kind of protesting in my own way of not wanting to play Penny Parker until they make her actually good. And two, I guess I'm burnt out as well. But even with that in mind, the Penny Parker win rate continues to grow. I see a lot of Penny Parker players who I've never seen before, in some of these Grandmaster lobbies, Celestial lobbies. And I'm just kind of blown away at the fact that there are so many Penny Parker players that are, climbing the ranks, quote unquote. Because when I watch some of these games, every single one of these Penny players are just bad at the game. I don't think a single one is good. The only other player I think is actually good at the game is Hikari, and he doesn't play the game that much either. Um, so this profile right here, hey Hikari, he doesn't stream, he doesn't make videos, he doesn't do anything. He just plays the game, and I've known him for a while since season I think 0. Um, but I genuinely like, despite all his losses or whatever, I do think he's the only other Penny Parker player who's actually good at the character, while everybody else is not all that great. Brandon is a cool guy, but his main account he just doesn't play on it right now. Um, Everybody else, like Eric Cartman, even Cringe Alarm, he's not good on the character. Let's be honest. It's not hot. It's not a hot take. It's not a well, it is a hot take. It's not rage bait. It's not me doing a bit. I just don't think his penny gameplay is remotely even close to being good as mine. Mori is just someone I met on EU ladders. Jace is just he just makes educational content. Fu, he's been climbing the ranks, but I still don't think he's remotely as good as me. Um, and all of this comes off as egotistical, me being a jackass. But in the end, I still really do believe I'm the best Penny Parker player with the most well-rounded play style. I can play her aggressively. I can play her, in a flank slash dive style. I can play her, Omega defensively, with traps set in mind for my team. I just do it all on the character, right? Um, but because of that, I've decided to make a video where I just analyze my own gameplay and actually, tell you step by step why I do a specific thing. Because there's just too many players who don't know what they're doing on the character, and on top of that, they're still climbing. And so whenever they climb by playing really, unoptimized, poor Penny Parker gameplay, all it does is just tell them, oh, I'm doing something right, so I'm going to continue playing like this. But in reality, they're playing the character in a very poor fashion, and they just keep getting into this loop of just positive reinforcement where they win games by playing bad, so they continue to play bad, and they don't understand why or how that gameplay is just not good at all, and they're getting lucky, quote unquote, or the enemy team is dumb, which is a common trend, right? Enemy team is bad, they run into your mines permanently, they don't think about your nest, they don't think about how to counter Penny Parker, and they die, and you win the game. Like, even though I don't have the actual codes from all these games, a lot of these were earlier on in the season. I can guarantee that all the games I've won have just been the enemy team being absolutely dumb, and I'm just I literally AFK and just talk to chat because I know the game is already won based on how the enemy team is playing into my penny. I don't have to try hard. I can just AFK, sit down, place my nest, and just watch the enemy team run into them. But enough of that yapping. Here is a how the rank 1 Penny Parker player thinks about the game. So let's get right into it. So just to clarify, this is a really old VOD. This game was from I don't even know how long ago. Let me see. Yeah, on the 16th. So it's been about 13 days since about 2 weeks since I've last played Penny Parker. That's actually review worthy. Mostly because I don't play the character a lot, and a lot of the games are just stomps straight up. My enemy team has like 2 final hits total, um, because it's just easy lobbies to play Penny in. But in this VOD, I play against another Penny Parker called N4Sir, N4S1R. Um, you know, they're not very good at the character, but this is a game where I basically play Penny Parker into an enemy Penny Parker. They have Jeff Cloak Invis, Rocket Luna. This guy was on 4 different Hiscan characters. This guy played everything. This guy's terrible. You guys should check out my last video because I mean that's just the entire game um, from my POV, right? But this is the only game where I can actually like VOD review and analyze myself. So let's just get right into it. So, yeah, about 2 weeks ago, this was around diamond level, which is roughly like celestial grandmaster level at the time after the rank reset. But the first thing I look at anytime I watch anybody else's VODs on Penny Parker is how quickly are they setting up on the character? Because if you don't set up quickly, then there's no point. Um, that's that's the gist of it, right? Whenever I see somebody walk out of spawn, how quickly are they doing it? So, just to compare, when I do it, I min-max my web distance. By min-max, I mean even though you can use it in a variation of ways, the way I use it, I get the maximum value I can as quickly as possible. So here, 3 seconds, I use it to get out of spawn as soon as possible. I place my nest down as I'm zipping out so that I don't waste as much time waiting for that nest to come up so I can get that speed boost as soon as possible.
Counting on you, friends.
Right. I keep jumping. I zip line as far as possible as I can with the zip line, um, which is roughly 30 meters here. And then I continue to place my nest down as I travel through the zip line. Right? So without even turning the corner, I already have my nest. I press F, which is my nest button, and I continue to walk out. I continue to walk out, maximum range on the zip line, even though I could technically do it a little bit closer to where I am. Uh, that means I'm traveling a shorter distance with my 3 second cooldown, so I want to make sure I keep using the maximum distance I can reach with my webs. And you guys can't hear it, but at the time, I'm currently telling my team, somebody in spawn, go Rocket Raccoon so that I can place my second nest down. Because the team up nest does not disappear unless you either break the nest yourself or the nest gets destroyed. Um, so you can always do this on any, like even before the game starts, if you want to give your team a health pack of, a 50 HP armor pack. As long as you don't die, you can continue to have your team get the armor packs from spawn if they die, and that'll just be a free 50 plus 50 HP boost to any of those players. Um, and so with that second team up nest, I'm placing my nest right over here on below these steps, and then my first nest where this tree is usually at. And so there's a reason for this setup, and I genuinely think this is the best um, Penny Parker setup on this first point Yggdrasil Path. I've seen a lot of variations. A lot of Penny players place their nest over here or one over here and connect out this way and this way. Cringe Alarm, from what I've seen, at least a couple months ago. I don't know if he still does it, but I was in a stream. He placed his nest over here and tried to do a body block situation where he contests the cart. Um, you know, a lot of lower ranked players would maybe place their nest this close up. Um, but every single one of those nest setups are terrible. Even the slight variations where you put a nest over here and one down here instead of one over here, one over here, it makes no sense and they're all terrible. And I'm about to explain that in a quick second. So the reason why I set this up as soon as possible is that the idea is I'm going to be cutting off this entire choke point. When you want to play the game as Penny Parker, you have to analyze the map in a way where every single choke is, well, not every single choke. You have to imagine every part of the map as a choke. So technically, from this point of view, um, this is a choke from spawn because they can't. Sorry, I should be explaining these terms as I'm saying them too, because I assume not everybody knows what I'm saying. So choke is essentially an area where the enemy team is going to be walking through centralized parts of the map, um, and they want to be walking through that area to get to another area that's more important. So obviously they want to walk out of the spawn doors so that they can walk onto cart. They want to walk past past these two walls, quote unquote, so that they can get past here and move forward. They want to walk past this corner where this wall, this pillar, and this part of the wall is considered a choke. This is considered a choke. This is considered a choke. Even this can kind of be considered a larger, wider choke, or this step over here, and then over here, and then this choke over here, this choke, right? Basically, if you break the map down into areas where you have to walk through, and there's really no other way to go through but through this area, I would consider that a choke. This can technically be considered a choke as well, but it's more unorthodox, more, uncommon. But that's the best way to think about playing Penny, because the reality of it is the character is mostly just taking space and controlling areas that you want to control, key areas that will either stop the enemy team or help your team, right? Those are the two ways you can go about it. And so, in this case, this is a choke that isn't all that valuable, even though it is very easy to place mines here and webs down, right? Why is it not valuable as a penny player? Because if I'm placing mines here, even if they do die, they're just going to walk back out really easily, and they stay in spawn, they're full HP, and they're shooting me. And if I die, well, my spawn's all the way over here, right? So it's not as much value for me to be killing them right here while risking my life at the same time, if that makes sense. There's a reason why spawn holds don't happen all that often, especially in high rank play, because the more of a risk there is for you to die, um, the less value you usually tend to get. Outside of specific situations where there's only 1 minute on the overtime clock after 2 rounds of people capturing point. Right, but outside of the scenarios, you don't really play all of this close because this is not space that you really need. Even if you stop them from coming out this way, it doesn't stop them from coming out here or stop them from coming out here. And so you just risk your life, and it doesn't. They're not forced to walk through this area or walk through your mines. They can shoot you out. They can kill your teammates. They can go on other routes, right? Um, and same with this corner. You can technically be on card here, installing card and stopping them from walking forward, but this isn't a key area and a key location for your team to fight in, so it's not as valuable for you on the defense side as it is for the offense side.
Uh, Maybe not.
But with
It,
this setup here, you can see I put 3 webs over here like this. Technically, this isn't optimized webbing that I've done, but it does a decent job. Um, but these 3 webs connect out here. They connect to these nests over here. And because I placed them so early on in the defense stage, by the time the enemy team walks over to these mines, whether it's a flanking diving venom or just a slow Groot walking on main, there's going to be 15 or 10 drones set up from both nests because they take 15 seconds. So ideally, you want to be placing your nest down before uh, the enemy team takes 15 seconds to reach, ideally before the game even starts, because the faster you build the drones, the more damage you're building, the more likely of a chance you are to kill anybody, regardless of who it is. The full HP Venom, the Groot walking down main, a Moon Knight who's just being dumb and running it down main, whatever, right? The reason why I do these two specific nest spots, it takes the best of both worlds, kind of. So when you're playing from main, you can't see those nests, obviously, right? But they're still getting hit by the drones and mines here. They can't walk past this corner to shoot down these nests. So it's just really hard for people who just continue to play main here, like a Strange or a Magneto. Um, if you were to flank from over here, like a Hela or a Phoenix, you still can't see these two nests from this current position, right? You have to walk further. This nest is covered by the stairs, so that you can't see it from this angle unless you go up on a higher elevation. You can't see this nest until you start walking out further left here, right? Now, the main issue with that is, well, one, if you're flanking here on this angle and you're trying to shoot from this side of the point, either this pillar is going to be in the way, so you have to break the pillar, or you're just going to be shooting into a team of 6 with no cover while your team is all playing over here, right? So even the flanking Widow, Hela, um, Phoenix over here, they're just not going to be able to shoot this nest as easily as, you know, um, as easily because usually your team is not going to be playing on this side on attack. And also, if you notice this as a Penny Parker player, you're just going to shoot her down along with your teammates. And also, you can body block the nest as well. And because it's so far into the corner, it's just hard to hit until you get all the way around this corner, right? And this pillar is already in the way as well. So there's a lot of natural obstacles as well as player threats that are stopping the off angling hit scan player or projectile player to hit this area. Another major factor that goes into my nest placements ideas. Can I help my team with the nest spots? So over here, clearly the answer is yes. This rocket team up nest is giving out armor packs, so if they ever need the extra 50 HP, now my Luna is a 325 HP character. My Rocket Raccoon, instead of 250 HP, it'd be 300 HP. Those numbers do add up because a lot of characters have combos, and if they expect the Luna Snow to only have 275 HP, but in reality she has 50 extra HP, that's stopping her from getting killed by a Spider-Man combo or a Black Panther combo or a Widow headshot, even. So uh, it's minuscule, but it adds up over time. And also, what else? I'm playing in my own nest so that I get the speed boost and the armor, speed boost and the HP boost, so that now I'm at 900 HP instead of 750. And on top of that, if anybody were to dive in here, like a Venom, Iron Fist, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Magic, whatever, what's going to happen? They're going to be blown up by the mines because my supports are going to want to play in this area in the first place, and it actually helps them if they do, right? If I place my nest over here, or if I place my nest over here, I could technically cover the same amount of area and still protect this choke area at the same time, right? But the issue is my supports are going to be playing probably around here, right? Maybe further back, maybe over here in this room, maybe over here, whatever it is, but they're not going to be within the nest. And if they are playing this close, then they're making a mistake because they're just going to die, right? Somebody flanks over here, dies. And if somebody takes this high ground angle, they die. If anybody just walks out over here and they shoot at the supports, they're going to die. So where do my supports want to be? I take that into account, factor that in, and I place my nest accordingly. Now you might say, oh, but can't you just break these nests from on the high ground? Well, actually, you kind of can't. Over here, sure, you can shoot this nest down, the rocket team up. I think the rocket team up is less valuable than the main team up, the main nest, because the main nest has a large area it covers, while this covers a very small, limited area. It's about half the size of the regular nest. So if you want to maximize this setup, you want to actually have your main nest be hidden so that it actually covers out and reaches these webs over here. Uh, the crucial point of this entire setup is the main nest. It's able to be hidden inside and still provide drones and webs to this main connection. But if you notice it from this POV, this camera POV, it's really hard to see this nest until you walk out like all the way until the edge over here. So basically, I'm saying that the only way to break this nest is you have to stand at at the very edge of this corner, at which that point you should be shooting or was stunning them and just killing them, or you can body block and stand up here as a Penny Parker, right? It just depends. And a lot of the times when they break this first nest, they ignore this second nest because they don't see it, or it's just too risky to go after both nests at the same time. Because by the time the first nest breaks, what is the Penny Parker going to do, or what should they be doing? Right? They should be shooting down this person and trying to kill them. If you try to go flank from this room over here, uh, it's not going to work out because one, there's no nest over here, and if they walk out all the way over here, they still get hit by the drones here because the webs still connect out this way, and also, I mean, they're just going to be shooting into your backlines, which they should be shooting back at them, right? If a Bucky's trying to flank over here or a Psylocke, they can still easily die, as long as your Luna's shooting at them. You pay attention to anyone who's flanking, etc. And so this is the most optimized Penny Parker nest setup on this map. And on top of that, I'm just going to be stalling point for a long time if I stay within these webs, get that HP, get that movement speed boost. My teammates are never dying to any dive characters, if I stun them especially, etc. So we're just going to
After all.
continue watching the game. I do a couple mines as well. So someone made a video recently called Ghost
Mine's this
Setups,
place.
Ghost Traps, on Penny Parker. And basically the idea is you're going to place a lot of the times, and especially in my older videos, I used to say you want to be placing your mines in webs every single time so that they don't break and you don't risk that chance of it getting wasted. But the reality of it is, it's actually okay for some mines to not be in the webs because whenever people see webs, they should be expecting mines. A lot of dumb people ignore the webs completely. But if you know how to play into Penny Parker at all, you expect there to be mines inside the webs at any given point, right? And the idea is a bait and switch of, is there actually going to be any mines here, or is it safe for me to walk through? Um, because you know that as a Penny Parker player, you want to also be setting up traps where people don't expect them, right? Where there aren't any mines, where there aren't any webs covering those mines. So for here, I'm placing my mines at the very bottom of these steps. Why? Because when the enemy team walks out, one, if they don't see any webs, they're not going to expect there to be any mines. And when they walk out like this, they don't see the mines, right? It's at the very bottom of the screen. And most of the time, where are they going to be looking? At the enemy team. Where's the enemy team? Are they over here on the high ground? Is there somebody on this corner, right? So they just don't look at these type of mines on the floor. So if you look at it from, I think it was this player's POV. No, it's just going to be over here. So it doesn't actually get a kill here just because the characters that went out were barely over the webs. But you see, like, the mine's easily triggered and it could easily get a kill on someone who's not expecting this. Um, so usually bottom of the stairs works out really well because most of the time people jump down the stairs and then they land right into the mines. Um, so that one was a failed execution, but the idea is still there, and that's the type of mindset you want to be having on Penny every time you use your mines, um, because you want to be getting those surprise kills. You know, the more you delay the fights, the more people are dying from random stuff. The the weaker their mental gets, the more tilted they are, and also, you know, you're just up a player. Also, I forget if, well, I guess I didn't forget. You want to be placing your mines three at a time because most characters in this game have 300 HP or less. And with your mines, each one does 100 damage. So three stacks of mines equals 300 damage equals kills on most characters in the game. Um, and also because of that number threshold, it's really important that you give out the armor packs whenever you can because um, what's it called? Like a Luna, she can live a stack of three mines if she has the 50 HP armor pack bonus, right? Without that, she's 275. So if she walks into, three mines, she's gonna die. And with the armor packs that you give out with the rocket team up, she can, you know, she's going to live. And so again, just to clarify, there's no rocket on my team here, but I still have the team up nest because as long as I don't break the nest team up does not disappear. So we're just gonna continue this. This is a visual bug here, so ignore this completely. Um, we'll analyze the enemy team Penny gameplay as well. So what they're doing is they're setting up their nests here and they're, webbing out, essentially. My biggest pet peeve when watching other Penny players is that they set up on a corner and then they try to web out. I think it's a waste of time because here's the reality, right? If you're good at the game and you think about it, even for remotely a second, if I see an enemy player place their nest behind the corner and then try to web out as far as they can, what am I going to do? I'm just not going to stand in the webs, right? Now, watch this player, this Emma player. Jesus Christ. This first round was just incredibly stressful for me because I knew exactly what this Penny player is doing, and my Emma Frost is just completely blind, right? Blind to it. But whenever you web out like this forward, it's just very predictable and it's very easy to circumnavigate because why would I walk into this area if I could just not walk into it, right? And I don't need to walk into it because if I'm playing on defense, especially, um, I don't have to walk forward to the card. I can just wait for the enemy team to get to this choke, where it's really hard to get past this corner and just watch them die, right? I'm not going to walk up to their webs. I'm going to make them walk up to mine. And that's very easy on convoy and convergence maps because naturally, as the point moves up, people are going to move up as well. And they're going to be forced into these positions. And you want to take full advantage of that. So we're just waiting for them to walk in. I don't need to walk up any further. Like, I don't need to be where my Emma is because why would I? I'm just taking unnecessary damage and my entire trap is based on here. I want them to walk into this area, so I'm going to give them all the space so that once they get to this area, I'm going to actually be stopping them from walking past further. So I'm just kind of shooting them, kind of stunning them down whenever I have the chance. You can see here, Magneto literally 1 HP instantaneously. Um, just from his POV, let's just break it down. He's not in the webs yet. He thinks he's safe. He walks up to the corner, right? I mean, like, that was 650 HP, and now he's at 7. And then he dies, obviously. But, oh my god, my Emma. Look at this Emma, please. They continue, like, the Penny continues to web up further and further, right? And then they just get blown up by a bunch of mines. Like, you just don't have to walk up at all. I don't care if their Magneto died. You just don't have to walk. The whole setup is based on the idea that you wait for the enemy team to walk into this area and just get blown up. So I back up here because I didn't expect my Emma to die, and I'm just continuing to set up traps, right? And a lot of this is me trying to body block the nest and salvage what I can. But obviously it's very hard when your team is all dying. And so first point, we lose instantly. Mostly because my team is just being dumb, right? We're gonna back up here. I place some mines and whips up here, so that if anybody were to walk through this choke, they're not looking at the floor and they maybe get caught off guard by this one. Um, but it's mostly just me trying to live. I see these webs on the floor, I'm not gonna walk through. So I walk through alternate area, right? And this is why chokes are so important. Why does the Penny place her nest down here? So that you can't walk through this area and you can't walk through this area. Two key central points that you have to get through to get to the point to stop the card from getting capped. At the same time, you can't break the nest, right? This is why this setup is actually a very good setup on the attacking side. And essentially what the attacking Penny did is they flipped the map. They made it so that now the defensive team has to walk up forward into a bunch of mines, right? Before it was, oh, I'm gonna wait for the attacking team to walk forward to this setup, and they can't break my mines. On the alternative side, vice versa, this Penny on the attack side is now making it so the defense side has to walk up and get blown up by a bunch of mines. And just again, watch for the Emma player here. Like, why are you standing in the mines, man? And the crazy thing is, I told him in the game, don't walk through, I'll walk through first so I can trigger any mines, and then I'll try to break the nest first as well. But you know, you can't control everybody's actions. If this guy wants to die, I guess I just have to let him die. Here I try to place my nest down to try and, you know, get that HP down, maybe get some damage down, but in the end, it doesn't matter really what I do here. We just lost this fight when 3 of my teammates instantly died on first point. So what do I do here? Again, I set up on this corner, try to, because I can't get to this corner, right? They have already taken so much space, so I have to slowly push back from where I am currently. So I'm going to place my nest somewhat around this area, web out forward here on the defense side, because I'm going to stop them from walking forward is the main idea. I try to place down 3 stacks of mines in the beginning, and because they have their own penny nest here, I have to be mindful of that as well when walking into this area, because now it's essentially a stalemate, but the enemy team is still winning, because as long as they stop us here, the card's going to continue walking all the way into this corner. Now, obviously, their penny was not being very smart, because they walked into my mines when they didn't need to, right? All of you have to do when you're in this setup, like defense side, on my side, we can't break these nests. The only way to break these nests is if somebody flanks over here or if the Peni Parker herself dies. And so what does their Peni Parker do? They walk into my mines. Like, it's just that simple, right? And that's why this Penny player is not good, because even though they have the advantage, they just throw it away by dying to another Penny Parker, right? So because I see that opportunity where she dies and we have all the space cleared up, no more mines, no more nests, I'm going to walk up instantly. Look at it, stun them, whatever. I now claim this corner. Now, if we break out this map, this is a choke, this is a choke. In between, the cart itself can be considered the choke as well, because it's very hard to walk past this area. You can't really climb over or walk through the point. This can be considered a wide choke, and then this is a choke. This is a choke over here, this is a choke over here, this is a choke over here. So even in the same corners, right, you can have multiple chokes. This angle, and this angle, right? And so here, the idea is whether I place my nest over behind this wall or on this wall, I'm going to be stopping them from walking past this choke in this corner. And so, I mean, this is just a whole mess of issues, you know. Jeff NATO, support ults going up at the same time, right? A lot of bad things happen. But the idea was there, right? Where I'm going to claim this corner and stop them from walking past this area. I'm just gonna skip over to the next part where I'm alive. And now again, right, even though I'm on the defense side, we are put on the back foot here because this nest spot stops them from walking forward, right? Or stops us from walking forward. Again, I tell my Emma, don't walk into the mines. Let me bait out some of the mines first. Let me try to break the nest. Or we could just go on an alternate direction. But realistically, we just can't touch this point now because they have ults, because they have this major choke point, and it's just really hard to break through. And the easiest way to deal with the situation is either you go on a different route, but which we didn't have the time for, or you just don't die in the first place, um, which is obviously something not out of my control, not within my reach. So again, we're gonna skip over to the next death. Again, I'm still doing the rollout where you put your zip line out max distance and then try to place your nest down. That's the fastest way to get out. And if you do that perfectly, you can cover the same amount of distance as a Penny Parker ult, right? If you ult, you get a 70% movement speed boost, but you don't get access to your zip line. With the zip line, if you're maxing it out perfectly, you can cover the same amount of distance in the same amount of time, um, as long as your nest doesn't get hit by any damage, because your nest takes longer to what's it called? The cooldown is gets longer and longer the more damage it takes. But if the cooldown is at uh, 0 seconds whenever it takes zero damage, then you can place it down whenever you want to. So here I place my web down. I don't know why it doesn't show up in the replay, but I throw my webs down here to try and throw a mine trap so that if anybody were to back up, they're going to get hit by it. This Penny's trying to set up a trap here where if I walk into this mine, I'm going to get blown up. First thing I'm going to do is not stand in that mine area. Right. I ignore the Penny completely because my Spider-Man's trying to go in for a kill. But also, it's just better for me to get an angle on these nests and break them rather than trying to kill the Penny, who's at 900 HP, constantly getting healed, getting armor packs while I'm getting hit by drone slows and all that.
These fighters are cute. Systems restoring.
Right, so by taking this alternate angle, I'm forcing the Penny Parker to back up as well, with the help of my Iron Man and my Emma Frost just walking up as well, right? And now I'm taking this part of the corner. I'm stopping them from getting past this choke, so I'm going to set up accordingly. Place my nest down, extend that a little bit further on the defense side. Again, it's okay to do it on defense. It's terrible to do on offense. And either way, right, when you want to web out forward like this, it should only be done to get to a choke point. So here I'm getting it to the choke. Get the webs out to the choke point, which is right here. I'm not going to do it beyond the choke point. So if I were to place my nest over here, I'm not going to place my webs all the way out like this because I want them to walk into like let's say this area or even this area. I'm not going to place it out further because the further I place it out, the further away I'm stopping them from walking into the key area that I want them to walk into. If I want to make the enemy team walk into this area and get blown up by mines, I'm not going to put 3 webs over here so that they avoid walking into this entire area completely, right? I want them to be forced into that decision of, do I take a long routed flank here, where it's unconventional for me, or do I just walk down main where there's a lot of mines potentially happening? So here again, I'm just putting my mines out. It's out of reach for the enemy team, so they can't see it. And at the same time, I'm stopping them from walking past this corner, because if they do, they get blown up by our team beaming them down, and then my mines and drones. Here I'm breaking their nest as well. Again, they're Peni Parker, right? Regardless of her 900 HP, if you play within the LOS of the mines and drones, you're gonna get blown up. You just do, right? And because I'm stopping that Penny from walking further, right? Why? Because I'm putting my mines and webs in the choke point where she wants to be. Anytime my invis pulls her in, she's gonna get instantly blown up, right? And then we push up, Magneto's dying, and I try to zip out further, but web zipline is always buggy. I try to go for a couple kills, and then I just back up completely. Why? Because I want to set up immediately for the next key point that I want to stop. So here I put a couple mines here so that if anybody were to walk in this direction, they might get blown up. It's kind of like a Hail Mary. And again, I'm back to setting up my nest properly. Keeping it full HP if I can, whenever I have the time. And then we're just back to doing the same exact thing that I did before. Now this nest, obviously, because they walk past this area and, a couple of my teammates died again, they're in spawn. This fucking Emma Frost, man. This Emma just does not know when to stop dying to Penny. But because we have less pressure now, this setup doesn't work as much because, they just walk through, right? So I have to back out early. We give them a little bit of space. The game is constantly a game of just tug of war where, you have to give some leverage to get leverage of your own. So So I try to do some poke damage. As soon as I hear the storm mold, I'm getting out. Right, I don't want to deal with all that. I even go high ground so that she doesn't hit me, because she's gonna be on the floor. And yeah, we're just kind of sitting up here waiting out the ults. You know, it's not my turn to attack yet. Again, I'm telling my Emma, please just stop walking into the mines, and she's already like 100 HP. Here I zip line to the high ground because I hear the jet full, and I really, really do not want to get hit by the jet. So I'm back over here. I see the Phoenix ult is about to end, and so I'm going to place 3 stacks of mines so that I can potentially kill a Phoenix. Obviously it doesn't work out because I missed the timing of it, but this is basically just a loss because my Emma continues to die first every single team fight. You can see they have 5 deaths, I have 3. And they just, like, look at their damage. They have 2,700 damage because they can't live to see another day. Look at my Iron Man, he has 12,000 damage. But that's basically all the defense. It went really poorly, you know. And at this point, this is where I'm looking out for my team by saying, hey, we need to watch out for penny mines. They might be doing some things, some creative, you know, mines over here, whatever. Obviously, as it turns out, enemy penny is not nearly as smart as me, so they just don't even think about those type of things. Like even look at this setup here, right? Why would you ever set it up like this way? Oh, because the penny doesn't know exactly how far the webs extend out. I can see it. Like I can literally see the nest from this angle. Why would you place a nest out in the open like this? Because you don't know any better. And yet people will continue to lose against this guy because they don't know how to deal with Penny Parker properly. Right? Like look at this. This is ridiculous. So here I'm constantly checking mines first. If you didn't know, by the way, for any non-Penny players, and you hate dealing with Penny, if there are mines that are not inside webs, if you melee them as soon as you see them, they will break instantaneously. Because they take a while to, you know, to activate. And so if you just press melee the moment you see someone's mines trigger, they break, you don't take damage, you live. So that's a little secret that I'm giving out. Here I'm constantly checking for mines, right? Because I just don't trust my team to like look for these mines themselves. So I'm gonna be looking at the common spots. So I place my nest out here just so I can get a little bit of that healing in this corner and maybe take some space. I place some mines over here on the wall so that if they walk out further, they might get hit by it instead of on the floor. It's just harder to hit the floor than the wall. And then here I'm slowly, right, very slowly extending the webs out forward. But I'm not really going all in with that idea. Ideally, I would be flanking here, but because they have a Penny Parker, I have to adjust my game plan to not flanking because I have to make sure I don't die to their Penny, pretty much. If I die to their Penny, one, it hurts my ego, but two, it's just bad for my team because they can't deal with the Penny Nest easily either. So here is just basically a waiting game of who's going to mess up first. I stun this Magneto, he's taking a lot of damage. I'm taking this high ground because the Phoenix is up there. I want her to stop from shooting my team for free. So I'm going to try and force her to back up. Right. I don't stay up here obviously for too long. And I'm just constantly readjusting my angle. Right. Now I'm going to be on this side so that if the Magneto, well, not if the Magneto, I'm going to be stunning him from this angle and putting mines in, you know, nest areas from over here so that when he backs up, because obviously he's going to want to back up, he's going to get hit by it. And if I'm shooting him from the front side, he, you know, he can just shield up and he won't get hit by my stuns or my mines or whatever. That's the whole idea. Also at the same time, because her nest is over here, I don't know why it's not showing up, but because the penny nest is over here, I'm going to be wanting to break that first because again, what's the key point about this area? It's really hard to walk through. Why is it hard to walk through even more with the penny on the enemy team? Because there are mines and drones constantly funneling into this area. So I'm going to stop the, you know, producer of those mines and drones and webs or whatever by destroying them first. I don't have to break this nest primarily because this nest doesn't connect to that setup over here. Is this non-existent nest over here, right? So I'm constantly trying to break the nest there. Try to break it as soon as possible. Now that the nest is gone, again, I don't know why. Am I just dumb? Was there never a nest here in the first place? Oh my god, I'm just dumb. I'm literally delusional. There was never a nest here. I was just shooting into this area. Am I stupid? No, hold on. This is wrong. Oh, okay. There really was no nest spot the entire time. So I was actually giving this Penny the benefit of the doubt, assuming that the replay was just bugged and that they had a nest here the entire time. But they actually just let their nest get broken because it was out in the open. Let me just watch this back one more time from their POV.
Mine's in place. Powering up.
Nope, nope, it's just getting destroyed and the Penny doesn't know and doesn't give a fuck about it. This is exactly what I mean, right? And like I always, anytime I do a VAR review, I'm always thinking, okay, my Penny Parker knows what they're going to do, right? Surely they know what they're doing. And then I just see shit like this happen, where they're placing it out in the open and they don't understand that it's even getting broken in the first place. And it's just like, why are you even bothering to play the character if your nest is not, in a remotely decent area? So, anyway, I'm breaking the nest here. This is where I'm actually breaking the nest, because if I break this nest, my team can walk forward, and it's more important for me to break the nest that's stopping us from walking forward than from them breaking my nest, because again, the enemy team, if they're on defense, they don't really want to walk up if they don't need to.
Time for some fire.
So I'm trying to throw mines out where the nest area is, so that if anybody stands over the nest here, it triggers and it hurts the DPS or the character themselves while also breaking the nest, because the mines don't trigger on deployables themselves, but they can do damage to the deployables if you place your mines next to somebody who triggers them. So here, if a mine's standing right here and the storm's right here, it's gonna hit both of them and deal damage. If the storm was not here, the mines would never activate and never hurt this nest. So obviously they're body blocking the nest, so it's taking a bit for me to actually break it. But again, the main priority is break the nest, and then I can go dive in if I want to with my zip line. I can go on an off angle. My team can walk up, whatever. Right. Here I place my webs down below my feet so that I can get some healing off of it. I try to climb out. Jeff just swallows me up. It is what it is. We all die. Whatever.
Don't count us out yet.
Really bad Phoenix ult from my team. I guess we still get a kill off of it. I don't know how. I'm just gonna continue to walk up. Right. Now she's dying. I'm setting a trap behind them if I can. Doesn't work because they're already dead. Now immediately I readjust. Again, I'm flipping the map. The zipline breaks there because of course it breaks. Here I was expecting them to portal,
Mine's in place.
so I was getting ready to position myself to zipline all the way into the spawn and stop them from portaling, but they actually don't opt to go for that. So in the meantime, I see that my mines are almost at 4 mines. So I'm going to try to place mines down as soon as possible before I go for that portal, canceling play. Extend the webs out a little bit further, break this high ground so that if I want to play in the high ground, I can. Place some mines over here as well, but they just didn't have time, so the setup doesn't matter, but the idea is there, right? Continuing to walk up here slowly, because again, I can't really flank. They have too much damage, and my team's going to get run over by the Peni Parker nest. If the nest doesn't get broken there, here, I mean, it's just left. But I spammed the web down main, because why? I see 6 people down here. If I throw a web, I don't need a web trap to be safe and cozy right now. So I can afford to just throw my 3-second cooldown out in the open, and I happen to stun the Storm Ult. Which is more so, it's lucky that I hit the Storm as she was ulting, but the difference is I did not waste the opportunity of using my web stun, and I got something out of it, right? There's a difference between being lucky and taking advantage of that luck, right? I could never predict that the storm is going to ult here, and I didn't predict it. But because I see an opportunity where I can just throw my web out whenever I can, I'm going to do it because I don't need to save it for the enemy team. They're not going to dive me. I don't need to, I don't have a trap here that's essential that I need my web on. And there's not a high likelihood of me missing. And even if I do miss, it doesn't matter to me. So I just use the web out and I get something out of it, right? This would never happen if I'm going to save my web stun because it's on a precious 3-second cooldown, right?
This is gonna hurt.
So here I'm just trying to live here. We're just doing some poke damage. I zipline up here to try and get a better angle because obviously standing in front of a Storm, Jeff, Magneto, Penny, Phoenix is not really going to do me any good. So I'm trying to take some angles here. The moment I hear my Emma ult, I instantly give up on the spot because I'm trying to shoot anybody who's getting caught in the Emma ult. So here I'm trying to stun the Magneto so that his shield can't be used into the Emma. and so that the Emma can shoot anybody with her ult, and the Magneto himself can be stunned by the ult.
I'm counting on you, friend.
Here I see the rocket, so I'm trying to go after him as well. They use Phoenix ult, so I break my nest preemptively while chasing down his rocket. And because if the Phoenix uses her ult on my nest, they instantly go on max cooldown. But if I break them early, it's only going to be a fraction, right? My nest is already back up. This is only on like a 12-second cooldown. They use Penny ult, so I'm going to back up, especially because they use the rocket ult. But also they've used 3 ults so far in response to 2 of our ults, so that's a net benefit for us. Try to do some damage. We use our Iron Man ult, he dies, he gets rezzed, but they use Magneto ult as well, so in the end, we're up ults here. This is better for us. Here, I don't know if you noticed, but I tried to go for a web stun to block the Magneto ult, because I know I'm far away enough where if I throw it out now, I can block the ult. But the Emma shield also is what primarily blocked it. You know what? I lied. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. Because the Emma shield is there, I know I'm going to be able to block it from... well, if I throw my web above the shield of the Emma, it's basically 2 shields on top of each other, right? But yeah, you can block the Magneto ult because it's also a projectile, and your web is a projectile, so they collide. So there, I mean, yeah, that's just a perfect rock. That would have killed me and my team probably, but... Well, I died anyway, but it's pretty flashy. It just doesn't show up on the kill feed.
Ready for it?
So we're gonna extend further. Skip passes. They're storm ulting. I'm backing up. I try to set up my mind so that if she walks into the drones for long enough, she gets hit by them.
Ready for it?
It's not very practical nor common for that to happen, but it's something you could do. The main reason why it doesn't work is because the nest usually breaks before they actually get hit by the drones. But yeah, we're trying to kill her. We do kill her, and they waste the Jeff ult too. And the Magneto's dying, so we're just continuing to walk up forward and forward and forward. Right.
This is gonna hurt.
We're just pushing them back as far as possible. I break the nest first again, because without the nest, the Penny's useless, and the entire choke that they're controlling in this area for is really bad.
They're cute.
Stop some spiders.
So I continue to walk forward. Why do I zipline here and place my nest here? Again, I want to take control of this choke and make it so that the defense team can't walk past this area, right?
Counting on you, friend.
So making this really, really hard for the enemy team to walk past this area. Again, I'm thinking of this map as, I'm breaking the map down into the little choke points here and there. And I'm setting up traps again, making it really hard for the defense team to stop the cart. Because again, the further away the fight happens from the payload, the more the payload moves. Because if the fight happens right here, and I set up my trap where the payload is, not where it's going to be, well then, at the moment the enemy team takes, one step on the payload, now the payload is stuck here, and for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we're going to be fighting on point, but not making any progress, which is what the enemy team wants to do. That's the whole idea of payload maps. You want to cover as much ground and take the cart as far as possible, but you can't take the cart as far as possible if the fight is happening on the cart. That's why you will see people walk up to spawn to try to spawn camp them, or like walk all the way over here when the cart's all the way over here. And then you'll have people say, oh, we need 3 people on cart. We need 3 people on cart. No, you don't. No, you don't. All right. You get diminishing returns the more people stay on cart. Yes, technically, if you have 3 people on point, that's the fastest speed. But you don't need 3 people on point if it's all the way over here and the fights are happening over here. Because again, if the fights are happening over here, if they use 6 ults on this corner, outside of their spawn, that means they can't use 6 ults when the fight's happening on the payload over here, or over here, or over here, right? The more people you get on the payload, the less of an increase the movement speed happens, right? So I think the number value is like 1 person on cart is plus 20% movement speed, plus 30%. With 2 people on, the second person only gives like plus 10 because it's only like a total of 30 or 40% once the second person gets on. And then finally, with like the third person, is only like a plus 5% speed percent boost on the payload. So it doesn't move as fast as the 1 person that's on it. So ideally, you want 1 person on cart and then leave everybody else to go forward, right? So here again, because we're taking all the fights over here, but the payload's still moving and my team is still able to walk forward, right? We're just pushing them back further and further and further. I'm killing the Penny, she's 1 HP,
We're better when we
and then
work
they just start
together.
falling over. So even though we're using ults and they're using ults and the fight's happening, they haven't touched the cart once, and so the cart's already by this point, even though we've been fighting the entire time, right? That's the whole idea of pushing forward with the payload.
Pulse charge. Fire.
And again, this is all about taking important areas, taking key space. It is not critical for my team for me to be stopping the enemy team from walking this area. Why? Because the fight's happening over here, and if the enemy team walks out from over here, then this is all free and they stop the payload, right? So it's useless for me to set up my nest over here if I could set up my nest over here and stop them from walking out in the first place. This nest is the nest setup here is inherently passive if I have a better opportunity right over here, because I'm basically saying you guys can walk out of this area and have the fight happen from this choke instead of this choke. You see how there's a massive difference between what the enemy team can see from this POV versus this POV, right? Even those minute differences between the same corner, right? This corner doesn't change, but this corner and this corner, these are two different, I guess, objective points. Yeah, viewpoints. I forget the word, but oh, vantage point, right? There are two completely different vantage points, even though it's the same. Like one of the points is the exact same corner for both sides. The rest is just me cleaning up and capping point. So again, we're walking forward here. This Magneto, he got left in spawn, so we just kind of mess around with him. Let's get past this part. Again, I'm instantly walking forward. So here, even getting that stagger kill, it forces their 45-second res beacon cooldown to be wasted, because now they get res and spawn. So here I try to push up. I try to take this corner so that they can't walk past this choke. I'm not going to try to defend this area because I don't need to defend this area. I'm more so stopping them from walking past this area. That's the thought process. So I'm going to zip out or web out a little bit forward. Right, they're taking a lot of damage, and again, they can't walk past, like they can't set up on this corner because I'm stopping them from walking up in the first place. My nest gets destroyed by the payload, so it's whatever. They're ulting, so I get the fuck out. Zipline bug again. It's disgusting. Try to avoid the Jeff NATO, but not much you can do there. Right. Just get forward. We're still waiting for the team to come back. This rocket's over here, so I try to go for him instantly. He gets out.
Time for some fireworks.
And we're back to just standard gameplay, right? I'm placing my nest here. I'm ziplining over here because I know. So again, so the ideal situation is I place my nest out. If we break this wall a little bit further, the enemy team can't walk past this area if they ever want to. And by ziplining over here, I'm going to be looking to break the nest from this POV because I can't ever break the nest from this angle. Again, trying to throw out mines into this area, but there's just a lot of things that break it, so it's kind of hard for me to actually get it done. And then we're just ulting with everything. Kill this, kill the storm because she's in the ult. Kill the, well, kill whatever. Break the nest. I place the nest behind the enemy team so that if they walk into it, they get hit by a bunch of mines or get hit by drones if they leave it uncontested, or they turn around and look at it instead of looking at my team. Right, I'm baiting their attention away from my team and into this nest over here. And like, if you look at it, it's not taking damage, and they actually are kind of getting hit by it a little bit. Same thing with the nest here, or with the ult here. I try to break it, but it's just better for me to get out of here because it's really bad angle and I can't break it fast enough. So I'm just gonna get out, right? And we actually get a kill out of it, 2 kills, because Costco Waters somehow got just found 2 picks out of it. So me backing out there is very, very safe play for me. And then, I get rewarded because I lived instead of, dying and committing to just staying up there to try and break the nest, try and break the ult. And also, because this ult is in such a bad position, like, look at it, it's not helping the enemy team at all. It's okay for me to, like, let it live. I don't have to dump all my resources into breaking this nest, or breaking this ult, if the ult is useless in the next fight. So, again, moment they have 2 people die, especially a support, I'm gonna go back into the enemy team. Like, I'm full HP, I have all my resources pretty much. I'm just gonna try and, cause a distraction back here.
Little one, this is gonna hurt.
miss the storm somehow, kill the storm. Ignore the aim, ignore the aim, ignore the aim, ignore the aim. I see the Phoenix up here again, right? I don't care about her ult because the moment her ult is gone, which is right now, I'm going to be placing mines down trying to kill her. So here, right, kill her instantly. Again, she gets rezzed and spawned, but that's good for me because now they don't have their res, right? And so we're just chasing, chasing, chasing. Penny's being dumb and frontlining for no reason, like a dumbass. Because again, this Penny player is bad at the game and nowhere near as good as me. And then I'm setting up a trap here, one nest on this right side, so that if they walk out here, they get blown up by drones. And then another nest on the other side, because I'm covering both chokes, right? These two are both choke points. If they don't walk out of here, they don't touch point. They can't get anywhere else. They can't go anywhere else. So again, I'm setting up with the idea of if I can stop them from coming out in the first place, I don't have to worry about killing them on point or them using ults, because they can't. They're in spawn.
On your friends.
So I try to kill the Phoenix here. I use my ult just to live and get that 450 HP. I go back on point. And yeah, I mean, I'm body blocking them. I'm just trying to stop them from walk out. Penny's getting blown up. And yeah, I mean, we just cap with less time, but we actually win this game in a very heavy landslide. I'll go over one more thing and I'll stop the video there because it's very long already. So we're just gonna skip over to the defense overtime where we stop them for 3 minutes and 43 seconds and we win the game. Again, nest setup is the same setup I've been doing. I set it up very quickly this time. Right, we still have 23 seconds left, which means I actually have the time to afford some of my mines to go all the way out here. Because if I place these out first, I don't have to worry about them as the round starts to begin. And then as they're walking up from getting killed over here, I have enough time to place actual mines in this key area, right? So ideally, you want to place mines first in the areas that are further away, not in the areas closer to you, because you can always place the mines closer to you whenever you want. It's hard for me to really throw 3 mines down here and try to get a kill when they all are already walking out, right? So here I'm placing 3 mines on this this pillar so that if they walk out this corner and into this pillar on the left, they get blown up. I'm still continuing to set up the webs over here. And then I do another 3 mine setup on the bottom of the stairs here. And I guess we'll just let the gameplay speak for itself. Alright, I also put 3 mines over here just to see if I can catch them off guard. So nothing dies there, nothing dies there, but Magneto already took 300 damage. So speed this up a little bit. Yeah, they're still taking damage. They gave up the Penny completely because that guy got tilted. He's on Psylocke now. At this point, he's 14 and 15, by the way. So really good Penny player. Surely. Surely, surely, surely. So here the setup, they kind of just broke through it. Mostly because I guess they learned to adapt around it, right? But still, the webs are still on the floor, I think. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell with the fucking replay bug. But they're taking a lot of damage. The Magneto dies because again, he's just standing in the webs. Emma's isolated here, kill her. I actually ignored the Emma here because she's not much of a priority as me setting up the next web trap. Because I trust my team to kind of kill the Emma on their own. So again, setting up the mine traps again.
Mine's in place.
Repeatedly setting it up over and over.
Powering up.
Right, so now at this point there's like 5 mines over there, 3 mines on the left side. There's a lot of damage to worry about, right? Let me just slow that down just one more time. Yeah. Look at the Emma Frost. She grabs my what's it called? My Emma. But she's standing in the webs, right? She can't afford to go for diamond grabs in this area because if she does, she's just gonna get stun locked and be hit by all. Like, look at all these drones. Look at them. They're all like even the rocket res beacon. I don't like this rocket res beacon because it can be broken really easily, and the res part is the most important aspect of the ability instead of the actual drones and mines. But look at all these drones coming out to just kill her instantly, right? And even the cloak. She took a bunch of damage just now. Watch. Right, it's like she's at 6 HP right now because of these mines and drones, and they're hitting her. There's a reason why this setup works so well, you know? and we're just we're going to continue to push here because why wouldn't we? They're 1 HP.
We're better when we work together. Whoever they
I
are,
try to go for
they
another
don't look
mine setup
friendly.
here actually. I believe. Let me see.
Mine's
No, I
in
don't.
place.
Okay. Might have been a different game where I did that. But again, back to setting it up. All these mines connect. Put the 3 webs down. Just repeatedly the same exact thing. And I don't have to do anything special or flashy. I just commit to the same setup and it's going to get guaranteed results.
Time for some fireworks.
Alright, they're Punisher ulting. I'm just not gonna look at it. Back up. Look at this. Look at how much damage they all took. Magneto's already low. Emma's already taken a fraction of her health. And look at my team. They're all perfectly healthy, and we're all at full HP. We have the armor packs. We have whatever, and they use Punisher all at the same time. Magneto again. I stun him one time. My Invis pulls him into the webs. He just dies instantly.
Systems restored.
And then here, what's the biggest issue? When the Emma wants to back up, what's gonna happen? She's gonna walk into a bunch of mines. Look at this. Look at this Luna Snow, right? She's trying to heal her team. Oh no, my Emma Frost is low. Let me heal her. Let me get a better angle on her. Oh wait, this payload's in the way. It's really hard for me to get through. Let me walk to the left. Oh wait, I get blown up by 5 drones, right? Like it's just so simple. This is all very simple gameplay for Penny. But people don't do this, right? Okay, I'm flaming Ishigo. Ishigo's a really cool guy, right? But he just does a weird setup too, where his rocket team up is over here and his main team up is his main nest is over here, and it just doesn't produce the same results because again, the further away the nests are, the longer it takes for the drones to travel over here as well. So even if this nest is a bit more protected than this nest over here, what's the issue? It takes too long for the drones to travel through all of this. If I could just have 2 nests that are relatively close, still well protected by the environment and hard for the enemy team to shoot down, and also still connecting drones and dealing damage. Also, the issue with placing a nest over here is if anybody with a brain decides to flank over here, they break the nest very easily, right? But that's neither here nor there.
Mine's in place.
We've already spent 2 minutes of their time just AFKing them, and they haven't gotten the card past this corner. Because again, why? This is a really key point for Peni Parker players on this point, or for anybody, because if they can't get past here, they don't have access to the rest of the map unless they decide to go on a flank or they take an off angle like this one, right? If I stop them here, it doesn't matter if they're not dying over here from this spawn or over here from this choke or over here from this area or over here from this area, because all that matters is, do I win the game and do I stop them from capturing point over here? And the short answer is yes, I do, because I'm stopping them from walking up in the first place.
Anyone willing to help? Anyone willing to help?
Let's up here. Their Emma's ulting. I'm just gonna get out. I don't want to deal with that shit. Max one again. We're counter ulting after the ults are used. Right, we're just killing them. If you don't need to take unnecessary damage, don't take the unnecessary damage. Just get the fuck out. Right. That should be the thought process you have when dealing with ults like that. Especially because Penny's ult does not provide the same amount of threat or value as the enemy Magneto ult or the enemy, Emma Frost ult or whatever. So you really want to make sure you just live. Right. Even now, even after an entire how long has this game been? It's nearly 27 minutes in the replay, right? But even after 27 minutes of in-game time, the enemy team still has not figured out how to get past this area, this choke, because it's kind of hard to, if you play down main, that is, right? It's just really hard to walk through this area without breaking my nest first, and they're not able to break through the nest if they don't get past the area, but they can't get past the area because of the nest, right? Again, Emma's already half HP, and she used her Diamond Form. They used Diamond Form and Magneto Bubble, and she's still half HP. Right, Widow over here, she's flanking on the off angle. But again, what's the issue? She can't shoot the nest down from this POV. Here I heard someone say Salik was flanking, so I went for an anti-flank mine trap here on the corridor of the door instead of the floor, because most people are looking at the floor and they don't see the, they don't look to check the walls here or whatever, right? Yeah, I get swallowed there, that's on me, but we kill him, so it doesn't really matter. And I mean, the rest of this is just cleanup, right? kill the people. Luna's 1 HP. I'm gonna go after her.
It's
But yeah,
time!
that is basically how I went 51-7 in a game where it was relatively GM players, you know, in the lobby. Um, Lower ranked than usual. It's not top 500 for sure. I mean, like Wolfels is a top 500 player, but a lot of these other players are not top 500. It's just the early season type of situation. But I mean, obviously, like look at this. I'm 51-7 with 15 final hits. This guy has 15 elims total with 18 deaths, and he was on Penny Parker. And I mean, there's just a clear difference between what I was doing on my character versus what he was doing on his character. Even though we both played defense side 2 times and attack side 2 times. But that is a very long video of me yapping away and stroking my ego. But if you guys like this very extended VOD review analysis of myself and the difference between my penny and someone else's penny, then comment, like, follow me on twitch.tv/fullmetallamp, or check out the YouTube live streams. I go live pretty much every single day, and I'm trying to pump out more YouTube content whenever I can. So please support me when I do. Have a good day.